So, hey everyone, it's been, I believe, a month or something like that since I last did something that was book related, but I finally finished a book. It only took about 2 months, because I have mixed feelings on this book. But it's really popular, but yeah, we'll just dive straight into it. So this is, as you can see from the thumbnail, because I do the audio recordings because I cannot be asked to spend hours doing my hair and makeup to go on video. I just can't do it anymore. Um, so yeah, so my husband was like, you do know you can do these as audio recordings," and I'm like, "Are you joking? Like all this time I could have been doing them as audio recordings instead of like, because as soon as I finish a book, I have to do a review while I remember and it's still all fresh in my head." But no, I only found out like however many long ago. I think it was like a year ago or something, as I turned to him for confirmation. But he's not going to give me anything.
I mean, we've been doing the reviews on our channel, on my own channel. If you didn't think for a second, oh, maybe I could just do it on there.
Yeah, it took me a while to twig. I'm a bit slow. But this is Five Survive by Holly Jackson, and this is the first book I've read by Holly Jackson. I have not read her, I believe it's A Good Guy's Guide to Murder? Yes, Murder, and I believe that it has been turned into a TV show. Don't quote me on where it's at, because I have not watched the show. I have not read the books. I wasn't really interested in her trilogy or the two books. I think it's a trilogy. But yeah, I wasn't really interested, but I was kind of interested in Five Survive, and then she did the reappearance of Rachel Price, which I have. I'll do at some point. But yeah, this book for me was kind of slow. I mean, we're looking at nearly 400 pages. It's an 8 hour, it's where 6 people spend 8 hours on an RV where they went on a road trip, basically to find out secrets and stuff. But maybe I should read you the blurb to begin with. So we have 8 hours, 6 friends, one sniper, 5 survive. Red Kenny is on a road trip for spring break with 5 friends. Red's best friend, her older brother, his perfect girlfriend and secret crush, and classmate. There's a load of tea in this book and drama, so if you want the drama and the tea, I would recommend that before we continue, go and get a drink about now. But anyway, when the RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere, they soon realize that this is no accident. They have been trapped by someone out there in the dark, someone who clearly wants one of them dead. With 8 hours until dawn, the 6 friends must escape or work out which one of them is the target. Buried secrets will be forced to light, and tensions inside the RV will reach deadly levels. Not all of them will survive the night. Yeah, so this is classed as a YA thriller. And then on the back it says, "You can't see me, but I can see you. If you try to shoot, if you try to run, I will shoot." I do have the nice hardback cover where it's like yellow and it has like a bullet hole on it, so I don't just have like a naked kind of cover. But yeah, so this is basically your pretty. It's different because I've never read like an RV kind of where it's just based in an RV, and inside the book we do have a little map of the RV, so you can kind of have some idea of how much space our characters have, what's in the RV, where the windows are, where the door is, because the windows and the doors are important because obviously the sniper is going to shoot out the windows and the door. So it kind of, the map I like because it gives you that some idea, so it was easier to kind of get in their mind frame, if you will. But Red is going to be our main character, and then the rest of kind of, they are kind of main characters, but we focus on Red so much throughout this book, and we're doing this from kind of her point of view, if you will. I'm really sorry. I need to burp. I'm so sorry. That was so disgusting. I can't hold it in, guys, okay? Exactly. But yeah, the one character that did my head in and I'm going to spoil it for you. And if you haven't read this book, don't watch this video because I'm going to spoil it. He does end up dying at the end of the book, and I think when I got to there, even my husband was like, because I was like, yes, because Oliver he's a horrible person, and he's got one thing in his head, and he's adamant that he's got to save his mum and his sister, and he kind of just takes over the whole thing. It's really controlling. Like, he's the one with the plans, what the rest of them are going to do, and kind of he's the reason that two people who aren't in this group but who just do like not a drive by, but they kind of stop and see if the group are okay. He's the reason they ended up dead. Yeah, but basically the story is that Arthur is our character, where to begin with, it did have me guessing, like, who's the liar, who has this, because apparently they need this one major secret and name. But we also find out that Oliver and his girlfriend aren't exactly innocent either, because they ended up murdering her boyfriend, um, at like the back of the store or something in the car park, because his girlfriend didn't want to say that they were actually in a relationship. So the truth came out about that. That was really drama-y and got really messy, and I was just sitting there with my book like, what the fuck? Oh, the drama, great heavens. But yeah, so they weren't exactly innocent, and the kind of character I liked most out of this is, I'm gonna say, Maddie, because I found Simon was a bit off. I want to like Red, but Red's main plot storyline is kind of like her mother was a police officer and she got killed 5 years ago from this timeline. I don't know why I say this timeline, like this isn't Life is Strange.
Not my branch.
But anyway, 5 years ago, Red's mother was basically executed and shot in the back of the head twice. Yeah, it all leads back to Maddie and Oliver, because they're brother and sister, and their mum is Catherine. And yeah, Catherine is kind of wanting to run for DA. I don't understand what that means over in America. DA.
Yeah. What is that, a person?
No, it's the attorney's office.
District?
Yeah, that's it. My husband's like correcting me here, but yeah, but over in America you have the DA. I'm in Britain, so I have no idea what the fuck that is. So yeah, so basically this whole book is around the secret, and other secrets come out and they're kind of like, oh, what the hell, but they're not the right secret. But this is all to do with basically Red, Catherine, Maddie, and Oliver, where Catherine was basically the one who, spoilers, executed Red's mother, and in the RV it comes to basically this massive explosion where the truth comes out is that Catherine was the one who did it. And because Red heard a doorbell, and where her mum was basically murdered was in like an industrial like warehouse where there was no houses nearby, so the police were like, no, you couldn't have heard a doorbell ring because there's no like houses. But it turns out that it was a ringtone, because Maddie had this thing when she was a child that she used to have to like ring the doorbell every time she entered the house or something. So hence why her mum had that ringtone. And then Maddie ends up getting shot because they make and again Oliver made the stupid decision to force Maddie to dress up as Red and go out there. And because Arthur put a light up at the beginning, so like at the beginning of the book, we go kind of back at the end for like a flashback, if you will, where Arthur was up on the roof of the RV because he was putting like some sort of light up there so he could communicate with his brother in order to basically say when to shoot, when to not, how, communicating in Morse code, which is kind of interesting, but annoying. Sorry, my screen's gone dark, and then I have to put my password in. It's not my fault. But yeah, but during that they have Don and Joyce who kind of turns up at the beginning of the book. They are our first two people to be murdered in this book in cold blood. And it was heartbreaking because they'd literally just come back from seeing their daughter who just had a baby, and they wanted to help these, Red and her friends. And as they come up with a plan for Oliver to put a note in Don's hand, the sniper then just shoots both of them, and then that's it. That's the last we hear of Don and Joyce until the end, and then it gets because there's a report in the end of the book, and then it gets confirmed that they're dead. Yeah, but this is all to do with Arthur's dad as well, because he's been accused of a murder that he did not do, and Red is being paid by Catherine $20,000 in order to lie about seeing Frank at another bloke's murder scene when he wasn't even there. And obviously Arthur and his brother are there to get the name of who was leaking stuff in the DA's office. And the name and stuff, and obviously Red's secret comes out, and then everyone kind of turns on Red and they don't trust her and they think she's the mole, when actually it was Arthur this whole time who was the mole and communicating with the sniper. And Maddie ends up having to fight for her life because, as I say, she got shot as she tried to get to Don's car to drive away to find help. And then we kind of get towards the end, and Oliver just turns on Arthur and nearly kills him with the knife on his throat. And earlier on, because Red has this thing about walkie-talkies, she's able to put them back together and then unbuild them and build them back, because her mum and her used to play cops and cops when she was a child, which was a game to them. So she knows a lot about radio waves and walkie-talkies and stuff. So she spends most of the book trying to find a signal to someone else. But the sniper and Arthur had this all planned out, and they literally took down a whole power tower, if you will. If I'm even getting that right. So they've got a power pylon. So they've got a pylon. Pylon.
The big towers made of metal. The big wire.
I can't pronounce it. But they basically took that out so they couldn't communicate with anybody other than the sniper, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, towards the end of the book is when the drama picks up and all of the secret comes out, is when Red find out that it was Catherine who basically killed her mother. Oliver doesn't believe that his mum is capable of being that kind to him and Maddie and then doing all of this criminal stuff. And as I say, Red was able to send out, because we get to 5 a.m. in the morning or something like that, and they've sent a team out to fix the tower, the power. And she managed to hear some sounds from them, so she managed to send out a message being please send help, there's a shooter. And thankfully that does send out a cop car, but then the cop woman comes out. What? Yeah, the cop woman comes out and then basically shoots Red twice in the chest. And then Maddie's in the RV fighting for her life because she's been shot in the leg, and we think that hit her main artery. Artery. And then Oliver's been shot by the sniper from what I gathered, and then killed. And then Arthur thought that Red was dead and then basically did a major leg it. And then his brother got caught and then surrendered and is going to be doing life for killing Oliver, Don, and Joyce. And then Arthur was the one who then, after all of this, went to the hospital and then got one of his brother's sniper guns and then shot Catherine. And then killed her after she was visiting Maddie. And then Red ends up like having surgery and is in a coma and recovering, and then Arthur's like, because the book finishes where Arthur's written like this letter, so you kind of get where the characters are coming from him, because then obviously Red just fades out, and that's the last we hear from Red's point of view, and then it goes on to like Arthur's point of view and things that happened since Thornsbury's been shot, been whoever's been arrested, and then his dad's going to get released, but then he's going to spend his life on the run. And he tried to visit her, and there is kind of like an insinuation of a, I want to say, of a little bit of a romance. I want to kind of say that Arthur has feelings for Red. Well, it came across like that for me anyway, but yeah, the ending like had me. I loved, that's basically the more book. I love the ending. The ending was kind of more drama than the rest of it. It took me 2 months because the rest of the book was so slow paced, and it just was mainly them cluttering around trying to find ways to get out, trying to find ways to communicate, which was just very slow. And the drama kind of saved up the end of the book rather than, spaced out, and Don and Joyce was mainly the drama at the beginning. So yeah, I didn't hate this book, but it's not one of my favourites, and I'm probably not going to be keeping it because I don't see myself reading this again. Unfortunately, it's not one of those books where I'm going to think in 5 years' time I want to reread it or anything like that. I also forgot to mention they put a map in of their destination of where they were meant to be going and how long, and it was meant to take them 18 hours to get from Gulf Shores to Philadelphia or Philadelphia to Gulf Shores. It's one way or the other. But yeah, but those little things that they add in books I kind of like. The little maps, the RV like printout thing. So yeah, I rated this 4 out of 5 stars because every time there was a bit of drama, I kind of give it a star. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't have more drama, if I'm honest. Definitely satisfied that Oliver died. Because as I say, he was the reason why people, and he was so like, I want to say dramatic, but I don't know if that's the right word, but he was just such an annoying character. And the fact that he wanted everyone to stay in the RV, and then there was a point where he was holding everyone hostage, and he was like, I'm going to set fire to this RV so you all can't leave and give my mother's name out. And that's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, now you're being a knob. Um, but yeah, that's my opinions on the book. I've done a Goodreads review, so you can feel free to add me on there. If you want to read a book about RVs, it is dark and eerie. It is a bit slow paced, but I think there is enough drama and tea packed in there to kind of keep you going. But yeah, it's just not my favourites, and it's just not one that I'm going to keep, unfortunately. But it's not a bad book. It's definitely different compared to. I don't think I've ever read a book where it's been, you know, being done in an RV. I think this is like my first one, so it makes a change from, I don't know, seas, camps, beaches, that kind of thing. I think when I read Four Found Dead, that was based in a cinema. That one was quite cool. I really liked that one. And then there was The Island by Natasha Preston, where it was again they needed to all survive, but that was on an island on an amusement park. That one was bomb. I've done a review on both of those, so please go and check them out. But yeah, if you love Holly Jackson and you love her books and you don't know about Five Survive and you need it for the collection, I would highly recommend it if you're a fan and you love her work or you're collecting her books. But if you're someone who is just a general like reader looking for recommendations, it depends if you like a slow kind of burn book with a load of drama right at the end. But yeah, that's my review, and thank you for joining, and thanks to the Nova Project for doing the recording, sitting beside me, correcting my spelling. pronunciation, letting me yeah, ravel on shit. He's my husband, and we kind of
As
do.
you mentioned about sex.
We kind of do. I do a lot of reviews with him, hence why he's featured so much on my channel. He's not just some person where we're paying each other, but that's why we're on each other's channel so much, is because we live together. So it's quite sweet.
Okay.
Okay. It's been a while. I get so awkward doing these, but yeah. Thank you for joining.